What's up everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down another one of my tracks from my last EP, Forest Tales. This track is called A Journey in the Dark and it's a piano based beat that I think turned out really nicely. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to play through the track first, so I'll add timestamps if you already know what it sounds like and want to skip straight to the tutorial. But if not, you can listen through straight away here as well. And do let me know in the comments down below what you want me to break down next. I was thinking probably one of the tracks with Eldre, but if there's something else that you want to hear, please do let me know in the comments down below. Also, the results for the competition to win Submit Hub and credits to my store are going to be revealed at the end of this video, so do stick around for that if you're interested and you took part in that. But yeah, here is the playthrough of the track. So this is the project file for that track. It's probably one of the most simple tracks on the EP in terms of what went into it stem-wise. Typically, if I'm making a more complex track, there'll be more grouping. The instruments will be separated into, say, pianos, guitars, and other instruments for mixing. But in this case, it was a fairly simple one. I didn't need to do that. So yeah, I'm just going to break down everything that's in here. So first thing we've got is just the typical atmospheres. And as I mentioned before, the atmospheres are just there to be a sort of background sizzle, so they're not any harsh resonance. There's no muddy low end. So on this one, it's just as per my typical smooth vinyl crackle. And blended with that is just a market atmosphere. But I'm trying to keep it very low in volume to keep it subtle in the background. So my last sample pack had quite a few different versions of this atmosphere, but this market atmosphere is one that I've probably overused by this point, so I'm determined not to use it again after this project. But yeah, that's what I had in here. It's got a nice fade in the intro, and that's it really. Next up, I've grouped all the instruments together. So starting off with the group, all I've got on here is this tape simulation plugin. That was from a producer on YouTube called Elephant. He makes sort of minimal electronic music. Definitely recommend checking him out. And this was a free just Ableton effect rack on there. It's just got some overdrive, some frequency stutter and stuff like that. But it's just a nice, easy tool to use. So in this case, I've used it for a bit of drive and a bit of compression to bring all of the instruments together. And then on here as well, I've got this auto filter for some swoops that you can see here. So we're starting off with cutting the low end as it fades in. And then again on the sort of first drop, it takes out the low end, so when it drops back in, it's more impactful. Obviously with the drums and stuff as well. And I've got used that a few times throughout the track. So onto this first chord progression. As usual, I'm not playing block chords, I'm sort of arpeggiating them with melody layered in. And this chord progression is actually just 2 inversions of an F minor 7, followed by a C major 13 at the end, and then that loops again, with a slightly different take on the melody. And then later on in the track, I've got this slightly different version of the chord progression. Usually I'd have more than just one change in the main progression, but this one, keeping it simple, was just this little break here. When that kicks in, I add a high cut to get rid of all the high frequency, make it sort of a muffled sound. I also kick in this group, which has RC20 with the sad piano preset on there, giving it a little bit of wobble and distortion, as well as a filter delay. Just turns both of them on for this period here when the drop kicks in. And that's it, pretty much. So for the piano in this, I think I was using the Noir for all 4 of the tracks. So the Noir is the felt piano by Native Instruments, just using one of the Dusky presets. And that was it really for the first track. The second track is just, again, the Noir piano. But this is a little melody. So we've got some high cuts to get rid of the highs, make it a little bit more muffled, and get rid of the bass as well, so it's more of a delicate melody. Followed by this filter delay, which has got some automation on the feedback and the volume of it. So when it gets towards the first drop, it goes a bit more chaotic and then resolves as it kicks in. Also throwing on some convolution reverb, just a stock Ableton reverb. And again, I've got auto filter on there, so that fades in as the track goes in, and it also fades down again towards the second half of the track. And having all these different filters and fades, even though it's just a simple melody, can give it more movement and make it feel more complicated than it is in reality. The next up is the additional melody. So again, another Noir layer. This is more of a free sort of solo type melody that just blends in. So this one's got, again, RC20, but throughout. It's just played in the intro, as you can see. Convolution reverb, again, an auto filter, an auto pan, which just slowly pans it from left to right, giving it a little bit more space. And then, again, a little filter delay. If you're not familiar with the filter delay, all it is it's 3 different delays in one. You can control the feedback, the pan, and the level of it. And you can also control this little filter. So anything within that filter spectrum is what is affected by the delay. Anything else isn't. So it's got quite a bassy sound, but you just want the high end of it to be delayed, and this is the perfect tool for you to use. And then again, I've got another similar Noir piano preset for the melody in the track. More filtering, panning and delay on this just to give it space and movement, but this is just a sort of free melody that blends in with the chords. So with the main chords, it's just a little bit of top end. Next up, I've got this Sleepy Bells thing. It's part of the brushed bell hit preset in Ableton. It's just an operator preset, and it's a really ambient, synthy sort of bell sound. So onto the preset, I've added this overdrive, bit of compression, and a high cut to get rid of the top end harshness of it, with caked in some convolution reverb as well. Next up is this synth layer. This is from the Bitfire Audio's original series. This one is cinematic pads. The pads are all geared toward cinema sounds, so a lot of them are quite intense, but in this case it's worked quite nicely. What I've done is cut the low end, which would have been a bit much, cut that straight off, added some saturation to bring out the highs, and then some convolution reverb on there as well. That's that layer, adds a bit of texture to the track again. Next up, I've got this vocal slice, so it's sort of quite dramatic vocal ad-libs that I've meshed together. So again, I cut the low end because I didn't want the muddiness that was with these. I just wanted the higher frequencies. Added some more saturation, which is this British Colonizer. I think it was a free plugin from Mastertones. Just an easy, simple interface saturator. Then some reverb, an auto cut, and Portal. So you can hear Portal now. It's just the sort of granular delay effect that adds some crazy characteristics of tracks. I would recommend checking it out. I've talked about it before. Often I use it on piano and guitar, but in this case it's just a little bit of delay for the track. The finally, an instrument is just a typical guitar layer that I like to add in. So if you've not heard me talk about this before, I'm using Amplitude for my cab simulation. And then on the rack, as you can see here, got some saturation, an auto filter, some compression, some reverb. And then on top of that, I've added some filter delay and some more convolution reverb to make it super ambient. You can see it cuts off there, the filter delay for a bit, then comes back in. But I've only got these sort of higher frequencies, so it's just a little sizzle in the background that's kicking in. So that's it for instruments, really. As I said, not too complicated, this one. Next up, we've just got a bog standard kick. Sometimes I'll layer kicks with different sounds to make it cut through more, but for this case, I just wanted it quite a subtle but punchy sort of kick feel. So that's all that is, really. Usually changing the velocity, so it's, as it says, not just a constant feel on the kick, it has a little bit of variation to it as well. The next up, I've grouped everything else drum-wise into this folder here. So this is what they sound like. Quite sort of gritty and textured. I've got the typical faller sound that I like to use at the moment from the Tom C Bumps kit. Would recommend checking that out. Next up is just some simple hi-hats. So I've got a little brush pattern. And on there, again, I've put more filter delay. Pretty heavy low cut, so it's just the top end that's being kept in. Otherwise, it's a bit too much. I just wanted that top end staying in there. And I've layered that with quite a basic hi-hat. The hi-hat was just recorded manually, so it's got a little bit of swing and variation in velocity, with a couple of open hats laid in there as well. The next up is the sort of snare sounds. As usual, I've layered a few different elements together with some off-tempo stuff as well, just to give it a little bit more variance and swing. Layering lots of different percussive sounds as my usual go-to. Next up, Foley sounds. Which is just a staple in my drums to give them more variation and make it more interesting. So generally, I've recorded all sorts of different things to use as Foley. Go-to would be to pitch them down, EQ out any high frequencies, and I've just made a sort of library of different Foley loops, really. Best thing to do is just to use your field recorder or your phone and mess about outside, breaking twigs, sort of rummaging stones, whatever it might be. Try and keep it interesting. And if you do that with, say, a metronome on, so often I'll go out, I have my headphones on, 70 BPM tick in the background, and I'll just break sticks and mess with Foley sounds in that way to get the loops. And then I'll just post-process them, pitch them down, filter them and that sort of thing. So this is just one of those. It's been heavily filtered, so it's quite a dirty sort of sound otherwise. And it's been time stretched, which gives it that weird sort of warped sound as well. Next up, it's just, again, another loop. I think this is possibly something from Splice, can't actually remember. It's just a clap sound, again filtered, and then we drop in some reverb at certain points just to transition between different bits. So in context. And then usually when it's a clap like that, I'll make the volume on this a little bit louder than the rest, so it just punches through. But that's it for the drums. I think they've sort of come out with quite a nice texture without too much going on, really. And the next up is the bass. As usual, I've just recorded my P-bass. It's just a simple. It's a simple bass line. I've boosted the real low end here as well, just to give the subs a little bit more of a punch. And I have flattened this, so initially I recorded a DI into Amplitude before, and then flattened it down after adding a bit of soothe to get rid of the harshness, but this is the final result. Onto the master. This is quite a simple one. So I've cut some of the real low end and made everything below a certain frequency mono. Added a soothe plugin to get rid of some of the resonance. with a focus on the low end. Next up, just a bit of compression. So the first one is quite a subtle and quick compression, and then after that I do add a longer release compression. That's just clipping in a little bit, a few dBs of compression there, and then a limiter with some gain to get to the -14 lufts. Again, this is quite a simple way of mastering. Usually my mastering tracks would have more going on. For whatever reason, I just felt this was enough at the time, and I think I'm happy with the result. But yeah, that is the full project file. So please do let me know in the comments down below if there's any other tracks you want me to break down. But yeah, I'm going to move on to the competition results now. Okay, so this is the competition results. Thank you everyone who entered. I'm just going to spin the wheel for the prize. There's going to be more competitions and prizes to come as well, so do stay tuned. But the winner of this one is Felix Schwartz. I will find out who you are and send the prize over. But yeah, thanks a lot for entering. And thank you everyone for watching the video. Next week's video is a special video going over some plugins I think are a real game changer for lo-fi, so do stay tuned for that. But yeah, catch you next time.